Thank you for coming out tonight and for bearing with us. Thanks for your patience here. Game time tonight will be 6:45. 6:45. And in the meantime, let's hear it for the Red Wings grounds crew and front office for getting the field ready for tonight's game. Once again, tonight's game will start at 6:45. But right now, it's time to usher our newest members into the Red Wings Hall of Fame. That's right. Let's hear it for them. The Hall of Fame was initiated in 1989 when it was decided that after over 100 years of professional baseball, the time had come to honor those who've contributed to the long-standing Rochester baseball tradition. Tonight we have another star-studded class that will join the ranks of Red Wings immortality. Names like Silver, Altobelli, Easter, Gritch, Baylor, Toporser, Crabtree, Collins, Derry, Ripken, and many, many more. You can always check out everybody in the Hall of Fame. It's located right over here on the first base concourse. It's now my pleasure to bring up Scott Petoniak, a member of the Red Wings Hall of Fame committee, to formally induct our first inductee, Fred Valentine.
Thank you, Dan. Before I get into the reasons why Fred Valentine is in the Red Wings Hall of Fame, I'd like to mention a couple of things that happened that really speak to his character. And before he came to the Red Wings, Fred Valentine played a huge role in desegregating baseball in the state of North Carolina. And then later, after he finished playing with the Red Wings and after his major league career, Fred was a big proponent in founding the Major League Baseball Alumni Association, which has raised millions and millions of dollars for communities throughout this country, including here in Rochester. So that was part of Fred's legacy before and after he was with the Rochester Red Wings. Okay, I'd like to read his plaque right now. Rochester Red Wings Hall of Fame inductee, 2024, Fred Valentine. This outfielder played parts of 4 seasons with the Red Wings during the 1960s. He was a stalwart on the 61 Red Wings, playing a vital role in helping them reach the Governor's Cup semifinals. In 154 games, he hit .267 with 17 home runs and 64 RBI. In the play-in game at the end of the regular season, he singled with 1 out in the 9th inning to set the stage for Finnegan's Rainbow, one of the most storied home runs in Red Wings history. In 1962, he played in only 45 games, but hit .291 with 3 homers and 20 RBI. While in 1963, he played in 70 games, hitting .309 with 8 home runs and 34 RBI before earning promotion to Baltimore. He returned to Rochester in 1969 for his final season in AAA, hitting .287 with 18 homers and a career-high 70 RBI. In addition to the Orioles, he played 5 seasons with the Washington Senators. Sadly, Fred died 2 years ago at the age of 87. But please join me in welcoming his wife of 63 years, Helena, to accept his induction into the Rochester Red Wings Hall of Fame. Helena?
Well, Fred, Valentine family is so grateful for this honor. It's hard to even to say how grateful we are. We spent, as indicated, 4.5 years here in Rochester, so we have many memories. So thanks to all the Reskin family for presenting this honor to us. We are so grateful. Thank you.
Thank you again for making the trip in for tonight's ceremony, Mrs. Valentine, along with your daughter, Valka. We really appreciate it. Next, it's my pleasure to bring up Gary Smith, a member of the Red Wings Hall of Fame Committee, to formally induct Dyer Miller into the Red Wings Hall of Fame.
This right-handed pitcher played in Rochester parts of 3 seasons, 1973 to 1975. In his first AAA season, he compiled a 6-3 record with a 2.75 ERA in 72 innings over 15 games. In 1974, he was a vital cog on the pitching staff that helped lead the Red Wings to a Governor's Cup title. He went 12-8 with a 2.70 ERA in 190 innings pitched, with 9 complete games and a team-leading 138 strikeouts. Miller won 3 playoff games that season, including the decisive Game 7. In 1975, the Orioles converted him from a starting pitcher to reliever, and his success continued as he won 5 games, notched 7 saves, posted a 2.20 ERA in 19 appearances before his June call-up and major league debut with the Orioles. He went on to pitch in the big leagues for 7 seasons with the Orioles, Angels, Blue Jays, and Mets. After his playing career, he coached and instructed for 28 seasons, including 19 with the Cardinals organization. Please welcome 2024 inductee to the Red Wings Hall of Fame, Dyer Miller.
I think we're supposed to get a picture here. Your turn.
Thank you. Hello, Rochester. I would like to thank the board from the Hall of Fame, Naomi Silver, and all the Redbird staff, including Dan Madden, for getting me into the Hall of Fame with all the past heroes of the Red Wings, of the great players, the Baylors, and one of my favorite managers, Alto. I can remember my first spring training in 1969 and I hear the veterans talking about, hey, wait till you get to Rochester. Well, in 1973, I finally made it, and they weren't wrong. What a great city, what a great fans, and a great ballpark in Old Silver Stadium. This is well a nice new ballpark, and the fans, I'm sure, are just as good as they were back then. So thanks for the introduction to the Hall of Fame, and good luck tonight. Let's get a W.
Congratulations, Dyer, and thanks for bringing your whole family here tonight. We really appreciate all of you making the trip into Rochester to be a part of this special night with us. So thank you, and once again, congratulations to Dyer Miller. Next up, it's my pleasure to introduce the president, the CEO, and the COO of Rochester Community Baseball. She's also a Red Wings Hall of Famer. Let's welcome Naomi Silver to formally induct Chris Colabello into the Red Wings Hall of Fame.
Thank you, everyone. I'm especially excited to induct this young man into our Hall of Fame because when he played here a number of years ago, not many years ago, he and his family meant so much to me and mine. And the plaque reads, Hall of Fame inductee 2024, Chris Colabello. After going undrafted and toiling in the independent leagues for 7 years after college, Colabello made the most of his opportunity to play affiliated baseball when the Minnesota Twins signed him to their AA team in 2012. He earned a spot with the Red Wings in 2013 and had a season for the ages. In only 89 games, he hit .352 with 24 home runs and 76 RBIs, each good for second in the International League. He made his major league debut in late May of 2013, but returned in June and July to power the Red Wings to a berth in the playoffs, where they eventually lost to Pawtucket after his late July recall to Minnesota, where he spent the rest of the season. At the end of the season, the slugging first baseman was named the IL's most valuable player, as well as its Rookie of the Year. He played in Rochester in 2014 as well, hitting .268 with 10 home runs and 38 RBIs in 61 games. In 2013 and 2017, he played for Team Italy in the World Baseball Classic. It's my pleasure to induct Chris Colabello to 2024 Hall of Fame. We love you, Chris. And we'll take a picture, yes.
Thank you for the kind words. Thank you to the city of Rochester. No offense, but when I found out I was going to be coming to AAA in Rochester, I didn't think there was much to look forward to, just because of the climate. And you drive around the city, and you realize pretty quickly when you get here how great it is. The people are what make it what it is. And a few people have asked me today about that season. And to me, it was so clear and obvious that the reason I was able to perform at those levels is because of the people in this city and that are with this organization, the Silver family, Dan Mason, at the time manager Gene Glenn, hitting coach Tim Doherty, and the fans, obviously. They made it such an incredible place. The big thing that really got me was getting to AAA was kind of a big achievement at the time, and I realized I had made it when Kevin brought us into the clubhouse on the first day and we had fountain soda. I was super excited about that. That was like a real moment that hit me, and I was like, wow, we're here. Obviously going up and down that season was really interesting, but I recognized how much this city mattered to me because Liam Hendricks and I were up in the big leagues, and the team was fighting for the playoffs at the end of the year. And we were playing in Houston. I had probably what was the best game of my career to that point, but we were going back and forth checking the scores in the clubhouse to see how the Red Wings were doing to see if they got in the playoffs. And I remember they clinched on a pop-up in the infield, and we got to see the highlights. And we were actually sad that we weren't here to share that with the team. So that's how much Rochester meant to me. I mentioned people, and obviously there's a million people to thank, and my parents who are here, my wife who couldn't make it, for supporting me, all the staff and the people formerly with the Twins who gave me an opportunity to come here, people like Brad Stile, Jim Rance, Gene Glenn, the manager, Terry Ryan, the GM. Those are just to name a few. And there's one really special person here for me today. He's a guy who means the world to me in my career, and I definitely wouldn't be here without him. He happens to be the hitting coach for the Red Sox, for the Worcester Red Sox, and he was my manager for 6 years in independent ball, and I would have never played a day here or a day in the big leagues without him. So Rich Gedman, thank you. Thank you to all the people in Rochester, and I'm honored.
Congratulations, Chris. A couple things about Chris that I remember. I remember, he had a season where he went up and down quite a bit that year. And I remember I had brought something down into the clubhouse, and it was just he and I in the clubhouse, and he had just walked in with his bag, and I said, "Hey, man, I'm sorry you're back, but, selfishly, I'm really happy to see you." And he's the only player I can ever remember in my career to say, "You don't know how happy I am to be here." Because everybody that plays for the Red Wings, they aspire to get to the next level, the major leagues, and they should. But that really meant the world to me, Chris. So thank you. I'll never forget that. And I would also like to thank you to introducing me to your mother. Now, my wife is an incredible cook. I never had met anyone. I would say that I can't really eat anybody else's meatballs or lasagna except for Sheila Mason's until I met Mrs. Calabello. Now, my wife isn't here, so I can say this. Yours are better. So thank you, Mrs. Calabello, for all the amazing spreads in the clubhouse. And to Lou, Chris's dad, thanks for your amazing support. We never knew when he was going to show up, but we knew when he was here. We'd also like to extend our gratitude to the fine members of the Red Wings Hall of Fame Committee. Special thanks to Gary Larder, Ryan Brecker, Bill Pucco, Jim Mandalero, Scott Petoniak, Gary Smith, Kevin O'Klubja, Michelle DiGaetano, Josh Wetzel, and Jim Castor. So let's hear it once again for the 2024 Rochester Red Wings Hall of Fame inductees, Fred Valentine, Dyer Miller, and Chris Calabello.